Steve Roman hangs on for third. After a lot of side-by-side aggressive racing last Tuesday night, we're about to take that and turn it up to 11 here tonight, as we are due for 150 laps around the paperclip here tonight for the Honor the Fallen 150 at Martinsville Speedway for round number 10 of season number 5 for the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook. My partner Matt Williamson will be along here momentarily as we are set for what is sure to be an absolute slobber knocker of a race here tonight on Turn 200. It was a great race last week at Nashville Super Speedway, and it saw Nathan Reynolds' long-awaited return to victory lane in the Venom Truck Series. As we take a look at the point standings here, heading into round number 10 on the season, two-time champ Nathan Reynolds has jumped up a couple of spots in the point standings, as have Steve Roman, another podium finisher from last week, and Paul Ellison. After Jeff Langston had some problems there late in the going, he falls 3 positions down to 6th, but the gap between second and first draws closer and closer. Andy Poliski still the points leader, but now he only leads Jeremy McKinnon by 10 points. 10 points at a track that is due to produce some chaos here tonight. Martinsville holds the record in the Venom Truck Series for the track that has produced the most cautions. 17 in one race, in fact, last time that they were here. That is, and I don't need to tell anybody this, a lot of cautions. So 10 points is not a whole lot of points for anybody to be resting on coming into Martinsville here tonight. But if there's any two drivers that are looking forward to this race here tonight, it's the ultra-aggressive and consistent Andy Poliski and Jeremy McKinnon. Both of them are feeling supremely confident heading to the paperclip here tonight. Is one of the two drivers going to walk away with the dub here tonight, or is somebody else going to walk away with the Venom grandfather clock? We are just moments away from finding out, as we are about set to get underway with the Honor the Fallen 150 here on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon deep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Broken arm I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
Presentation. We are back at it here in Glizzy Gardens. It's Turn 200's coverage of the Venom Truck Series and the Honor of the Fallen 150 from Martinsville Speedway. It's Tommy Cook. It's Mr. Matt Williamson. Partner, welcome to Martinsville. Are you ready for some high-speed pickup truck pinball here tonight?
Well, from the last time that the Venom Truck Series was here at Martinsville, that is about an accurate description. It's going to be chaos, bumping and banging, but I'll tell you what, I'm here for it.
You mentioned it there. Season 4, last time we were here, 17 cautions for a whopping 85 laps, including a green-white checkered here, and the only time the Venom Truck Series has had a race here in Martinsville in series history. Season 4, Round 5, Carson Mitchell grabbed his second consecutive victory. He has not returned to the series since that race. He got through Paul Ellison late in the going, who not only led the most laps, but also scored the pole. He ended up dropping back to third in the closing laps. You and I have gotten to talk to a couple of drivers in the last couple of days. Who are we keeping our eyes on here tonight, you think?
Well, when I think about Martinsville, I think it's about passive aggression. Not ruthless aggression, passive aggression. Something you wouldn't know anything about, would you?
Oh, okay. I see how it is.
But the drivers that can claim Martinsville tonight are the drivers that can lay the smack down if need be, but can also layeth back and be quiet. Oddly enough, the three drivers that come to mind that fits this mold perfectly are the top three in the points. Paul Ellison nearly won this race last season and has made his name on consistency. Talking to Jeremy McKinnon today, he says that he has put in a ton of laps ahead of tonight's race, and balancing aggression and patience is key. And the points leader, Andy Poliski, mentioned that if he manages traffic really well, that's his key to victory here tonight.
And Poliski is going to have to manage traffic, I think, a little better than he was hoping to. He mentioned last night when we talked to him on the podium in Truck 200 that he was looking to start as close to the front as possible. A P4 start for him here tonight, I think is maybe not as ideal as he was hoping for, mainly because he's going to be starting on the outside line. But how about this front row? And we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail here. TJ Bartell is going to grab his first pole, and Luke Peterson. How about it? A P2 quali run for Luke Peterson. Two rookies here locking out the front row with the two-time defending series champion Ryan Dye in P3, Andy Poliski in fourth. That's going to be quite the starting grid here for all intents and purposes, what could be a demolition derby.
Yeah, I mean, those are two drivers that we've been talking about more and more in this season as the season has rolled along, especially TJ Bartelli. We've talked about a lot in Truck 200 as well. But I shouldn't say it's necessarily a surprise to see them qualify that well, but it's more of a surprise to see some of the names that we usually see not qualify just a tad better, I suppose.
Tonight is the Honor the Fallen 150. The race was named by Eric Breeding. Tonight is a virtual home race for Eric Breeding. Breeding is the chief deputy of a sheriff's office in Virginia. Tonight is a little personal for him, the Honor the Fallen 150. He has had several of his colleagues lost in the line of duty. As well as, and I'm going to read this wonderful statement that he put out yesterday in the Venom Discord. He says, in 1964, my grandfather was a deputy sheriff in the very department I've been with for the last 24 years. He was killed in the line of duty, gunshot to the chest. Now, this was before my time here on Earth, but my sense of honor runs deep in my family. I did not know my grandfather, but his ultimate sacrifice led the way to many of my uncles, my cousins, and my other family members to dedicate themselves to law enforcement. This is what the Thin Blue Line means to me. Honor in family, honor in friends, and honor to all of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. It is pride in who we are and what we do. It's not political, it's not a social cause, and it's not because it's the cool thing to do. It runs deep in my blood. So the Honor the Fallen 150 here tonight is for Eric Breeding and for all of those who proudly serve. As we've got the last few moments here of the warm-up tonight, before we get rocking and rolling, we didn't quite hit our regular quota of 27 trucks to hit the starting grid tonight. We just missed. We're going to have 25 trucks on the starting grid here tonight as we get ready for 150 laps around Martinsville tonight. The starting grid for the Honor the Fallen 150. I mentioned it just a minute ago. TJ Bartell with a time of 19.573 seconds Career start number 6 here tonight, or rather, career start number 7 for TJ Bartell here tonight. Career pole number 1. Luke Peterson, another rookie, to his outside, his best career start here tonight. Ryan Dye will start in P3. He finished 8th here last time at Martinsville last season. Andy Poliski did not fare very well here last season. He's looking to do a lot better, and he comes into tonight as the points leader. Steve Roman will roll off in P5 after his podium finish last week at Nashville Super Speedway. Brantley Gainey Jr. will start in P6. Jeff Langston looking for a bounce back. He also did not fare very well at Martinsville last season here. He rolls off P7. Chad Stearns had a great surge through the field late in the going last week. He rolls off an 8th. Will Salamone hanging in there in 8th in points. He rolls off P9. Jeremy McKinnon 2nd in the points, 10th on the starting grid. Michael Dean finished runner-up here last season. He will roll off in the 11th starting spot. Corey Rutherford starts to his outside in 12th. Paul Ellison led the most laps here last season. He starts deep in the field here tonight in 13th. Pascal Samard went upside down in a crash last week at the Super Speedway. He starts in P14 here tonight, looking to keep all 4 tires on the ground. Adrian Brown got up front, led some laps last week. He starts in 15th. Garrett Rainey starts P16. Kyle Zittel, Cole Maxwell, 17th and 18th. Jan Van Leer and Eric Breeding then round out the top 20 starters here tonight. Austin Holyfield, Ethan Patterson on row number 11 with Michael Krall, Paul Sargent, and Kyle Dumick, rounding out your field of 25 starters here tonight. All righty, Matt, what are some of the facts and figures we're going to be keeping our eyes on here tonight as this race rolls along in Martinsville?
Yeah, I mean, as always, 0 fast repairs. We're thinking they could do maybe 130 laps on fuel, but with cautions and different things going on, I don't think that will be the case. I'm sure there will be a stop at some point for all of our drivers, especially for tires. It is a pretty long race at 150 laps. There are lucky dogs and wave arounds. Leader has the choice, lane choice on restarts, and track temperature right now, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty cool. These guys are going to have to watch it in the opening laps on cold tires.
The top 2 rookies in points have the opportunity to lead the field to green in what last season was the wildest race in league history. 17 cautions for 85 laps. Can we clean it up this time? Can the rookies hold the fort up front? Bartell and Peterson, green flag for the Honor the Fallen 150 in Martinsville. Great start for Bartell out front. He leads lap number 1.
Peterson struggling a little bit on the outside. He's going to try to slip in. Can't. Vroman shut the door on him on the inside. He slipped back a couple of spots. Now under fire from Vroman.
Vroman tried to send a dagger there to the inside. And I think Peterson may be able to find his rhythm now. He's going to slot into line 4th. Behind Poliski, who's now in 3rd. Ryan Dye, who's in 2nd. Vroman now is in 5th as Langston leads in front of Gainey, who nearly got up into the wall there out of turn number 2 as they battle side by side for 6th.
Yeah, and right behind them, Chad Stearns was on the inside of McKinnon as well. Now he's going to be to the inside of Gainey.
Stearns always gets a good look at all the action throughout the race. I feel like we should just have a dedicated Chad Stearns camera.
We need to put a Chad Stearns cam on our website at some point when that's up and running. Oops, did I slip something? My bad.
Little spoiler there.
But that would be epic to do a little NASCAR-esque. Get to watch every driver's camera. That would be pretty awesome. But Chad Stearns certainly seems to be all over the field. Not to his benefit sometimes, but seems to find his way up to the front every race regardless.
Jeremy McKinnon is up 1 spot. He has been trying to get up and challenge Brantley Gainey for this spot. He's fallen back just a little bit.
Stearns finally clears Gainey up in the front. That's going to put him in the 7th spot. And pretty single file throughout the field right now. might have had a little talking to with the drivers before the start of the race with the race control, I'm sure, reminding them of how the race ended up last year with 17 cautions and not wanting it to end up that way this year, maybe.
It was incredible. There was not a single challenge for position that last lap anywhere on the track. Bartel's led them all thus far. Lap number 9 goes up on the board, 142 laps to go. Not a whole lot of big movers thus far. I believe the biggest mover is Kyle Zittel, up 3 spots from 17th to 14th.
McKinnon in the 12. I thought he was going to take a look at Gainey. Decides not to. Just didn't quite have the run off the corner there. He is hounding the back of the 22 right now, though.
Trying to balance patience and aggression. And he's probably going to have a look here headed into turn number 1 underneath of Gainey. He's going to leave the door open as well. Oh, around in the back, Michael Dean. And the first caution is out. Dean, I think an unassisted spin, but somebody caught a piece of Dean on their way through. I believe it was Paul Ellison, and that puts us under our first caution of the race on lap number 11.
Oh, let's see if we can take a look at the replay here. This is the 73 of Michael Dean, who ended up going around. And you're right, Tommy. He just sends it in there, maybe trying to get on the brakes as he was turning, just sends that truck loose. And that was Paul Ellison that made pretty heavy contact with him, and he also hits the outside wall with the front of that truck pretty significantly. You can see the front bumper is crinkled, the hood's crinkled as well. There's certainly going to be some damage to the 73 truck.
Not a whole lot of activity on pit road. Garrett Rainey and Kyle Dumig. So not even Michael Dean hit pit road. Or Paul Ellison.
Yeah, and I was just going to say I wanted to take a look at Paul Ellison's truck. Looking
Here
at the
comes Michael
front
Dean
here,
now.
the right front of Ellison's truck is crinkled a bit. Not nearly as bad as Michael Dean's was, but certainly maybe a little bit more than cosmetic damage there. We'll have to see how he handles it. The good thing here is you can survive a little bit better here on a short track with a truck like that than you can at some other racetracks.
So Michael Dean, I believe, just got a speeding penalty, but it has been cleared. So we had 3 drivers hit pit road that time. And again, 3 extra sets of tires, I believe, for tonight's race as well. You and I were kind of joking earlier tonight before this stream started that we have seen a lot of Martinsville in our time on iRacing. You and I have both participated in the last 2 Mooncar 24s. We have run hundreds, if not thousands, of laps here at Martinsville. I could tell you in a truck that no matter how many laps you run, it does not get any easier. One thing or another will always be changing on this truck to always make them be a handful. These drivers are going to be struggling all throughout the run.
Yeah, I mean, it just changes so much throughout the run. What I think is really difficult, as you mentioned, we have both run thousands of laps at Martinsville. I think when you go into pit and you come back out, that might be when it's most difficult.
Bartel elects the inside. That puts Ryan Dye to his outside. Restart. Coming to lap number 17, 134 laps to go. Not a great restart there behind. I believe that was Peterson. on the outside. Poliski is going to get the best of Ryan Dye, who is going to jump right away to the inside and slot in third. Vroman going to try and get through to Peterson in fourth.
A little bit of contact. Oh, Peterson's in the wall.
Going from bad to worse for Luke Peterson.
And right before that, Langston and Stearns had a little bit of contact and then got checked up the two trucks in front of them. And Peterson is all out of sorts now. He's dropped back a lot of positions.
It's so hard to get you back on the right track.
Well, technically he's on the right track, but...
Well, all right. Around Paul Sargent, he tags Jan Van Leer. 3-4 trucks involved. I think that's as close to the big one as we're going to get here at Martinsville.
It looks like Maxwell is blown up.
Certainly a pretty big one there. Paul Sargent, Cole Maxwell, meatball flags. That might do them in for the night here, and that is caution number 2 already on lap number 19.
We're going to see if we can take a look. And the 49 of Sargent just goes around and he tags the right rear of the 5 and Jan Van Leer. Both of them are going to be spinning in the middle of the track. Maxwell clobbers Sargent. Most of the trucks are able to get around the 5 of Jan Van Leer, but Maxwell not so lucky. I think we should actually take maybe a cockpit view here. Let me rewind.
I was going to say, you're going to have 4 pretty good cockpit views to look at between Michael Kroll, Austin Holyfield, Garrett Rainey, and Ethan Patterson. They all got a pretty horrifying look at this accident in 3D.
This is Cole Maxwell. You see Sargent goes around in front of him and just comes straight back across the track. Just nowhere for him to go. Cannot react to that one, certainly. And just an unfortunate circumstance there. Well, Tommy, we've said it many times on the channel, and you know the old adage I'm going to go to. Cautions, what do they do?
I've heard a rumor that they seem to breed cautions.
Well, that seems to be what's happened so far. You stack up the field and let these drivers bump and bang some more for position.
So far, TJ Bartell hasn't minded. That's for sure. Oh, stacking them up a little bit further back on the inside line there, but we're back to green. Bartell scoots away. Poliski, though, is coming at him.
Jeff Langston.
Oh, wow. Big stack up there into turn number 3. We're under caution again. Adrian Brown, Corey Rutherford.
Kyle Zittle's in the wall.
So I think what happened was Adrian Brown was trying to make a move on somebody, and he sent Corey Rutherford down into the grass there, into turn number 3. And not a whole lot that Rutherford could do.
Yeah,
and the big stack-up was on from there.
Let's see. I'm actually going to go to maybe a little bit of a different view here. There we go.
It's starting to look like a Vietnam flashback for some of our Season 4 drivers of the Venom Truck Series.
Oh, no. This is Corey Rutherford that we are on board with here. And you mentioned it. He just kind of gets moved to the inside. Didn't really have a choice, I suppose. Oh, and he barely tags Kyle Zittel. 3 cars stopped on the track. Eric Breeding is going to get into the 10 as well. That's Adrian Brown and Kyle Zittel. I'm going to rewind it here, see how hard the contact was for him. Pretty significant and definitely not a small blow. Go ahead and go to the rear chase. Oh, yeah. Definitely a crinkled hood for the 53. And he's not one that's afraid to use it either. So now that he's got a damaged one, he might just say the hell with it. I'm going to keep using it.
I think we're not too far from everybody being into that territory here. So we're 28 laps into this race, and we're under our 3rd caution already. Started pretty nicely, but like you said, the cautions be breeding the cautions.
And unfortunately, I think the commentator didn't curse this particular driver, but
everybody
cursed everybody with
equality for all.
More cautions, yes.
It's what we truly strive for as a species. Everybody is equally cursed tonight. So, coming to the restart on lap number 30, Bartel again in control of the restart. He'll X the inside. He'll have Poliski to his outside. Row 2 will be Ryan Dye and Steve Froman. Jeff Langston, Chad Stearns on row 3. Brantley Gainey, Will Salamone on row 4. And your top 10 is rounded out by Will Salamone and Luke Peterson. We have 21 trucks on the lead lap. We still have 23 trucks working around Martinsville Speedway. Green flag is back out. Inside line stacks up big time again. Oh, trouble going around.
Langston.
Langston apologizes, but says you came down and you weren't clear. And I'm gonna wait to see the replay on that one. But
yeah, I was in kind of a far camera view. It appeared that way. But yeah, certainly gonna have to take another look.
Let's dial her up. Caution number 4. We made it about 250 feet this time.
We're gonna go ahead and get behind Jeff Langston. Langston in the 21, Stearns in the 05 on his outside. And I think you're right. Langston was maybe a half a truck length off the bottom, if that. And it certainly appeared that Stearns came across his nose. I'd like to take a cockpit view of that from Langston's point of view and see what it looked like from his perspective.
You can understand Stearns' urgency, though. The outside line is so bad on these restarts. When the inside line keeps checking up like that, it presents the opportunity for Stearns to pick up a couple of spots. He feels like he has to make those desperate moves like that.
Yeah, and like you said, I can understand that as well, really feeling like you need to get to the inside there, because we saw it. I mean, we saw it with your outside starter at the very start of the race. Luke Peterson, he lost positions quickly, especially on the second restart. He's back in 9th place now after starting 2nd tonight, so it certainly can get you out of rhythm, and once you get out of rhythm, it is hard to get back into it here.
That is very, very true. And Langston really didn't sound that upset over the radio. He just really was calling out to tell Stearns what happened.
Yeah, I mean, Langston, really no damage to that truck. It was a pretty light tap, just sent Stearns sideways. So probably more damage to Stearns than it did Langston. Langston just wanted to let him know that, what he thought happened from his perspective.
So Jan van Leer is going to get the free pass. So he will get back on the lead lap. Corey Rutherford was 2 laps down. He's come back down pit road and gotten more repairs done to that truck. So he has fallen an additional lap down. So he is now the only truck running that is not on the lead lap. And he is actually now 4 laps down. So if the cautions keep racking up, Corey Rutherford is going to get some laps back here. But I think these drivers want to get some green flag running in here tonight. We've already got 4 cautions for what will be 20 laps here, coming to lap number 36 for the restart. But TJ Bartel has led every single lap thus far. You'll have Andy Poliski again to his outside. Ryan Dye, Steve Roman on row 2. Is now Will Salamone and Jeff Langston on row 3, and we are back to it. No big stack-ups this time. Poliski slots into line. Dye underneath of Roman, trying to take spot number 3 away.
Roman working the outside right now. He's got to be careful not to get stuck out there.
Nearly 3 wide further back in the pack.
And Roman is able to get in between Dye and Langston. Langston now under fire from Will Salamone, though. Isn't able to make that stick. Langston slots in front. Farther back in the pack, we're 2 wide for a couple of spots here. This is going to be for the 13th position. Currently belongs to Samar and Michael Dean, a part of that, as well as Jeremy McKinnon and Kyle Zittel, a couple of which we have seen have pretty heavy contact with incidents here tonight.
McKinnon has been on pit road already, so he may have fresher tires than everybody in front of him here.
And it seems like Samar just got pushed out of the way.
He did not leave much room for Michael Dean, and I'm sure Michael Dean is already, spinning behind him. It's Rutherford. Caution is out again. Rutherford had help from maybe Ethan Patterson behind him, and indeed it was. Patterson's going to loop it right in front of the leaders. Holy cow. Ethan Patterson spins it out right, trying to get it pointed right back in the right direction, and not realizing how close TJ Bartel was. And Bartel had to make an evasive maneuver. And we are under the caution for the 5th time here. Tight confines proven to be tricky for the 2nd season in a row here at Martinsville.
Yeah, Peterson actually slides it in on his own. He was going to probably spin out regardless, but just happens to tag Corey Rutherford, who Rutherford actually had to slow down quite a bit. I think he kind of missed his entry into that corner as well. So little mistakes from a couple of drivers caused that one, it seems. And we're going to continue to watch the spin out maneuver as you see Bartel move to the outside. And Patterson hit the inside wall hard there, so I would assume he has probably quite a bit of damage.
No meatball flags, and in fact, Cole Maxwell had a meatball flag from his crash, and it has now been cleared up. So Maxwell still sitting in the pits, but no longer has a meatball flag. So maybe we'll get to see Cole rejoin the race, maybe not.
And Rutherford is going to hit the pits again.
Yeah, we saw a few drivers hit pit road that time that were not involved in the accident, including Pascal Samard and Adrian Brown, Austin Holyfield, and Kyle Dumig. Holyfield was going the wrong way in a hurry. He found himself on the outside of 3 wide on multiple occasions there in that couple of lap run. All righty, it's lap 44. If you're hanging out with us here tonight, let us know. Drop us a chat. We appreciate everybody coming out here tonight, dropping us some subs, dropping us some likes. We've been racking them and stacking them, and everybody's played a big part of that. So we thank everybody for their support and coming and hanging out with us and supporting the drivers of the Venom Truck Series. So thanks for your support, and let the drivers know who you're rooting for here tonight as well. I'm sure they all appreciate it. I know we got some support in the chat for TJ Bartell, the race leader. He has led every single lap here tonight thus far. Andy Poliski has been itching to get the lead away from him. We'll see if he can do it here on this restart. He's got a whole host of characters behind him that are looking to get to the top spot here. It'll be Ryan Dye and Steve Roman on row 2, Jeff Langston, Will Salamone on row 3, Brantley Gainey and Chad Stearns on row 4, and Eric Breeding and Luke Peterson round out your top 10. 105 laps to go at the line, already working our 5th caution. The record of 17, let's hope we stop short of that somewhere. Back to it. A little bit of a stack up there on the outside this time. Great restart for Bartell.
Yeah, Bartell's done a really good job of getting his restarts down. He's said he struggled with that all season. Seems to be doing well here. Whoa, and Salamone. Oh, around. Pearson gets hit hard.
Rainey got hit hard by somebody, absolutely sent. And not a whole lot that anybody could do after that.
Peterson got absolutely punted into the outside wall. I didn't get a great look at it, but man, it seemed like he hit the wall hard. So this is a replay here. And yeah, you can see. Oh, man, and it looks like the 16 gives Breeding a huge shot. And that's what spun Peterson out. And the 16 of Garrett Rainey has a much different truck than we usually see him in. I'd like to take another look at that from somebody else's perspective. We're going to go ahead and go on board with Jeremy McKinnon here, who was right behind that incident. Oh, and he narrowly gets through on the bottom. That's how quickly things happen when it goes sideways here at Martinsville.
Jeremy McKinnon has been like a secret agent trying to work through like a laser field to get up to the front of this field. And so far it's working, I guess. You would think employing that strategy, the luck is going to run out at some point. You hope not, but you think it would have to. I think the call over the radio from race control was that any cautions after this are going to have single file restarts. I may have misheard him, but we'll wait to see if that is going to be the case here.
Well, I can tell you what, if you're outside the top 10 and you go single file, you are a long ways from the leaders. That is not a good feeling restarting that far back.
Certainly not. But it would be a good feeling knowing that you have a lot better chance of getting some green flag laps in with a single file restart, at least theoretically anyway. But we do have one more shot at a double file here. We're not too far away from getting the lights on around Martinsville here. It's a beautiful sight.
Also, something to mention, I just read missing from our race tonight. Nathan Reynolds says that he fell asleep and missed the start of the race.
Oh, man.
And I've done that before. That is not a good feeling.
No, it is not. Another good restart for TJ Bartell. He's led them all thus far. Inside of 100 laps to go.
Jeff Langston spun the tires a little bit, got the back half of the truck into the outside wall there for a split second on that restart. He has gathered it, though, finds himself in 4th place for the moment. Boy, farther back, we are battling tight. That's Vroman and Salamone battling right behind Jeremy McKinnon.
Zittel and Elson nearly made contact a little bit further back in the pack.
Boy, and after getting caught up in an incident, Kyle Zittel has made his way nearly into the top 10. Great drive from him since being punted into the outside wall. Really tight battle between Salamone and Vroman here. And Michael Dean was trying to look to the inside of Vroman. Vroman decides to give up the spot to Salamone so he can take a preferred line into the corners. Further back, Kyle Zittle's actually lost a couple of spots now to Paul Ellison.
Samard was inches away from plowing into Kyle Zittel. Just averted disaster there. TJ Bartell's advantage right now over Andy Poliski is starting to shrink. It's down to less than a truck length. And Ryan Dye has closed it in on Poliski as well.
Well, this is the first set of green flag laps that we've had for a long time. So Bartell was able to hold on to it at the very first run that we had. But now the tires are a little bit older. We'll see if he can keep that same mojo going here.
It's been 58 straight laps of Bartell in P1. There would be a bit of irony if lap 59 is the lap that TJ Bartell would give up the lead to Andy Poliski. Poliski wants the lead. He had a good look there into turn number 1, doesn't take it. Going for the in to out. Bartell leads 59.
And Poliski's entering a little bit higher, trying to get that run off the corner. He's going to look to the inside here.
Bartell isn't phased. Poliski maybe just trying to force a mistake out of Bartell. It's not happening.
Well, it seemed like Bartell did take that corner a little wider, maybe sent it in just a tad faster, and there is a caution out.
Ethan Patterson is around in turn number 4. And the caution, oh man, again, Bartell checking up. Caution is out for the 7th time. Here on lap number 62. Didn't see how it happened.
I think it's going to be a self-spin here. Hard on the brakes into the turn, and it just breaks loose on him. You can see him trying to save it and just can't quite get it done. Gets it locked up. Still hits the inside wall. Very similar to what happened with that first incident with Patterson as well. Just a tad too hot into the corner when he slams on the brakes to try to get it tightened up. Just breaks loose.
It's been a tough couple of races for Ethan Patterson. Ever since he was having a pretty good run at the Forbidden Indiana Speedway. And I think he got caught up in that giant melee towards the end. And ever since that, it just seems like he's kind of lost his mojo a little bit. So hoping Ethan Patterson can find his way again here before too long. It's you're right. Once you start the slide here at Martinsville, it's just really hard to get back on your best foot and start putting your best foot forward again.
Certainly. Somebody that is getting a lap back here, trying to get back on the right track after starting in second, is Luke Peterson. Will be starting all the way back in 18th on this next restart. And do we have any word on double file, single file?
We may have gotten enough. We may have gotten enough
Laps in?
Yeah, sorry. We may have gotten enough laps in to make race control happy to go for a double file. They have not. Usually, you could see the race control command in purple when they change it from double file to single file, and that has not entered the chat yet. And there's been no word from race control under this caution period, so they may have deemed this last little green flag stint that we had good enough to continue with the double file. I know that caution was not what Andy Poliski wanted to see. He was not just knocking on the door; he was starting to try and knock it down with a battering ram.
Well, the other thing here is we've had so many caution laps. Poliski hasn't even really gotten a chance to, take stabs at that lead and figure out what works and what doesn't. So he's trying to play catch up a little bit here on what he would like to, he would have liked to have figured out what type of move he wants to make for the lead already, and he hasn't been able to do that quite yet.
Bartel from the pole has led them all thus far. Coming to the restart zone, it'll be lap number 67, and the green flag is out. Couple of three-wide skirmishes there out of turn number 2. They all sort themselves out.
Roman gets stuck on the outside again. Jeff Langston also on the outside. Boy, Gainey and Vroman are battling tightly here. And Jeremy McKinnon really wants to get by him, I think.
That balance of patience and aggression. As Vroman and Gainey not displaying a whole lot of patience here.
No.
Rubbing wheels through 1 and 2.
Further ahead of them, Jeff Langston was able to clear Chad Stearns. And wow, Langston and Vroman able to make the outside work and clear in their battles respectively.
McKinnon has just passed Gainey on the outside out of turn number 2. So maybe the outside is getting some new life here.
Did we have anybody come in for pit stops, new tires, or anything like that?
I hear crashing. Caution is out again. I believe that's Kyle Zittel down the front straightaway.
Oh, boy, and there's smoke pouring out of that one. He had some damage already, but seems
solo truck incident, but a hard hit. About as hard as you're going to see here at Martinsville. And that is caution number 8.
You can see he's working behind Michael Krall here. Oh, he hits the berm on the inside. It knocks him loose. And he tries to stay in the gas while he's corralling it, and he ends up spinning hard, very hard into the inside wall. Everybody else is able to get clear of him. But I think if it's not the end of Zittel's night entirely, he's not going to have much truck left to contend with.
Highest pitter this time around is Jeff Langston from 4th. He brings Chad Stearns right behind him in as well. Michael Dean is on pit road. Luke Peterson, Brantley Gainey, Will Salamone, Adrian Brown. Some of the drivers on pit road have been on pit road for a while, getting some repairs done. But Jeff Langston and Chad Stearns up in the mix. They give up their positions.
Well, we're right at the halfway point in the race. That's, that probably was their plan coming in, to maybe pit halfway through anyways, if I had to guess. The only issue here is now they're going to be a little bit farther back in the pack, where we've had some incidents happening all night long. So they got to be careful with who they're racing with. We've seen a lot of aggression back there so far tonight.
A lot of aggression and a lot of incidents, whether involuntary or voluntary thus far. It's Martinsville. It's short track racing. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
drivers. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, certainly coming into this, we expected bumping and banging at its finest, and we've seen it at its finest and maybe not so finest here tonight already.
Jan Van Leer, Luke Peterson, Eric Breeding, Kyle Dumick back down pit road a second time under the 8th caution period of the night. We're working caution lap number 38, actual lap number 76. This is the halfway point of the race.
And I don't want to jinx anybody here, but somebody that we spoke about kind of going under the radar, just trying to stay consistent, Paul Ellison up 7 spots now, up to the 6th position, very slowly working his way up to the front of the field, and finds himself in a good spot right now.
He was involved in the first incident of the night, but outside of that, he is kept pretty quiet. It's been a Paul Ellison kind of night. We'll have to see. Bartel, Poliski, same front row that we've had for the last 4 or 5 restarts. And here we go again. Another great restart for Bartel. Poliski again slots right in behind him.
Boy, back to about 8th or 10th place. These restarts have been wild. Wow, what a move from Rainey. Jumps from the top to the bottom, slides under Simard, and almost clears him as well. Wasn't quite able to accomplish it. But he is now. Stearns working on the inside of Simard as well.
Langston with fresh tires, starting to work through some traffic. Going around right in front of Langston. Simard. Brown. Langston hits the wall trying to avoid the melee. The caution is out for the 9th time.
Wow.
We're creeping ever so close to the high mark here.
Man, I really hate to say that I called the shot there, but mentioning that you don't want to be in the middle of the field on these restarts, Jeff Langston, he found out why.
Maybe we'll get a better look here on the replay. As you're doing that, our race leader is coming down pit road, I do believe. Poliski is gonna. Poliski is taking over the race lead. Ryan Dye has come in with TJ Bartel as well, but they are the only 2 from the leaders that are coming down.
All right. We know Simard was involved in this. Let's see exactly what happens. He's really tight, squeezing down Salamone, and that's where the original contact comes from. Spins the 76. You see Langston goes down to the bottom to try to avoid it. Adrian Brown's going to pound into the 76. Langston pounds the inside wall, trying to avoid. And that's a product of close racing. When you're on that outside, you want to try to squeeze down as much as possible, to try to stay on the outside of that car on your truck on your inside. Excuse me. Good Lord. And well, that's bound to happen, especially maybe with a little bit of help from the iRacing netcode as well. Although that was pretty tight.
Yeah, with the tight confines around Martinsville, I think most netcode contact is going to be actual actual contact eventually.
So Jeff Langston, you can see that hood is crinkled pretty good. Might be a little bit down on power here. We're going to see what he can do for the rest of the night.
New leader up front for the first time all race. It didn't happen under green, but Andy Poliski isn't going to mind at this point. 79 laps led for TJ Bartel. He gives it up under our 9th caution of the race. After scoring the pole, leading all the way up until his pit stop. Poliski now will have Jeremy McKinnon to his outside after Ryan Dye followed the race leader down pit road. McKinnon has been down pit road. Poliski has not. Ethan Patterson got the lucky dog this time. So he will be the 19th truck on the lead lap. I believe we have 22 trucks pacing around Martinsville still, out of the 25 we started with here tonight. And a new leader for the first time. We'll have to see what Poliski can do up front. But McKinnon seemed to be one of only a handful of trucks that was able to make the outside lane work as a means of attack. Maybe this is the time for McKinnon to get after it. Lap number 85. Here we go. Good getaway for the top 2. Single file through the top 4. Michael Krull is going to lose out.
Whoa.
On 5th spot. Oh, now he's going to get turned. That could be a big one.
Whoa!
And they are backing up.
Patterson plowed into everybody after the incident was over.
So Krull with the initial contact from Chad Stearns.
Boy, we're going to have a little bit to sort out here, I think.
Ryan Dye gets a piece of Jeff Langston in this one. And some more checking up. Samard kind of at an awkward angle across the track, and some drivers not exactly slowing up in time. There's a lot of black and blue trucks here tonight, so it's hard to make out some of them from the blimp cam I'm watching from. You're going to get a better look at this than I am, though.
Yeah, so we're going to see Michael Krull hits the inside curb coming out of that turn. He doesn't get a great run down the front stretch here, so Stearns is going to look to his inside. They're basically 3 wide at one point. Krull tries to block it, fends him off for a second, but then slows down a lot earlier than Stearns was expecting, so Stearns turns him around. And then we're going to see the 81 of Patterson, as trucks are checking up, absolutely plows into Luke Peterson, turns Samard into Langston, into Krull. A lot of damage from that. There were 3 or 4 trucks stopped up on the top of the track already.
Well, JK Gaming asking what he's missed in the chat. Well, you've missed the 9 cautions before this.
Certainly missed a lot of action. A little bit of what we were expecting, though.
Are we on pace for 17, though? That's the real question at this point. I mean, in for a penny, in for a pound. If we're going to get double digits, we might as well go for the record.
Well, we've made it to 10. It wouldn't surprise me if we were able to make it to at least 15, 16, maybe get over the 17 mark. We'll have to see. Good Lord, 90 says, no, this is number 10.
Yeah, no, this is caution number 10. There were 9 more before this one.
Yeah, so you only missed the 9 previous ones.
Only. So we're doubling up for another restart here on lap number 91. Coming to lap number 92, 59 laps to go. When we come back around, it's Andy Poliski out front after TJ Bartell pit under the last caution. He's currently back in 11th. Poliski yet to come down pit road. McKinnon has pit. He's on the outside of the front row. Poliski with control of the restart here with Vroman and Ellison on row number 2. Let's try it again. Another good restart for Poliski. He gets off cleanly. Field is starting to thin out just a little bit.
Big battle for the 3rd spot. Ellison and Vroman with Salamone and Rainey behind him. 2 by 2 for those 2 rows.
McKinnon pulled right up to Poliski, and then he started getting a little bit squirrely on corner entry. Lost a little bit of ground, but he's right back on the attack right now.
Yeah, he's all over the back of the 32.
As they're battling for 3rd and 5th behind. Oh, a little bit squirrely there.
Oh, and Salamone has a problem. Salamone's dropped back quite a few positions here.
Salamone and Rainey both had problems. One of them in turn 1, one of them in turn 2. And meanwhile, Vroman and Ellison have been side by side since the restart. Neither of them will give up. Finally, Vroman is going to fall in line. Ellison from the outside is going to take 3rd.
Well, we've seen that a couple of times tonight already. Actually, Vroman was one of them that made the outside work on a restart. So Ellison following suit here up to the 3rd position. The next battle back here is between Chad Stearns and Garrett Rainey. This is for the 5th spot.
These 2 drivers have been through the ringer here tonight, that's for sure. But they are still battling here for a top 5.
And Salamone, who we mentioned had an issue prior, is right back in this fight. He's actually on the inside of the 16 now. As Jeremy McKinnon has not let go of Andy Poliski up in the front.
The top 4 in the race right now are the top 4 in the point standings. Exactly how they run. Poliski leading McKinnon, Ellison, and Vroman.
Roll Tide in the chat says surviving at positions. And just before our last caution, that's exactly what Michael Crawla did. He was up a lot of spots and unfortunately ended up getting turned. Now all the way back in 16th.
Yeah, Martinsville scares the best of us. That's for sure.
A little farther back, TJ Bartell, who came in for tires, gets through on Ryan Dye, who had an issue there. Now under fire for Michael Dean in the 73 as well. Those 2 battle tightly. Ryan Dye gives up the position, though. And TJ Bartell has a few trucks tight in front of him, and on new tires, he's going to want to look to go right now, so that might end up being a problem. Gainey's looking to the outside of the 99.
I think at this point with a long green flag run, Bartel is going to have the advantage here no matter what. All these drivers that haven't pit yet are going to want to come down pit road after a run like this. He'll be able to stay out. Or if it stays green, he's going to have the faster tires, and he'll be able to make up spots that way. I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, I think so too, although if we get too far to the end, I don't think anybody's really going to come into pit.
No, nobody's going to come into
to.
pit. He'll just be able to make some easier passes. The problem is I don't know if he's going to be able to get back up to P1. That is certainly going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, I mean, a tough track to pass on already, and he's got a lot of trucks in front of him that he's going to have to get through on a restart. Might be nearly impossible, so we'll have to see how it plays out through the rest of the evening.
But certainly a lot of upside to it.
Definitely. I mean, as long as you make that pit stop work without getting damage on the restarts, I think it's best case scenario. Unfortunately, we saw Langston try it, and he ended up getting caught up in two separate incidents thereafter, so didn't end up panning out for him. As the 99 of Will Salamone is going to look to the inside of the 16, locks it down.
Vroman is looking underneath of Ellison for third, and meanwhile, Poliski and McKinnon have caught lap traffic now. McKinnon has stayed within half of a truck length to a full truck length of the race leader this whole time. Now they're working through a couple of different lap trucks.
Oh, big battle from Ellison and Vroman.
And now they've got Chad Stearns right behind him as well.
Yeah, Vroman ends up getting around, but that battle that they had allows Chad Stearns to pull right up to the back of them. As Poliski starts working through lap traffic. This is where it gets a little hairy. Especially when you have trucks battling for position that are lap trucks. That's when it gets really interesting. A lot of room in front of them now, though. They've gotten through a few.
I believe Salamone gave the chrome horn to Garrett Rainey. And Rainey actually lost 3 spots.
Yeah, Gainey's looking right back to the inside of the 99 now. We mentioned TJ Bartel has not been able to gain any positions. In fact, he has 3 trucks that have pulled up behind him. One of them is in a battle. Michael Dean to the inside of the 16 of Garrett Rainey. He is not quite clear and still will not be. Now he is. So Michael Dean gets through into the 9th spot.
McKinnon in the last couple of laps has gotten dangerously close to the back bumper of the race leader. Oh, not a great corner entry there. Maybe he'll be able to make it up on exit. Is McKinnon going on offense finally?
Well, we've seen McKinnon taking this higher entry to arc down and get a great run out of the corners, and we see him doing it again here.
Oh, trouble in turn number 4. Ellison is around, and the caution is out again. Steve Vroman, is that him tucked up underneath? No, it's Kyle Dumick. Oh, what on earth? Eric Breeding comes in there late. He had the brakes locked up. You don't really have a whole lot of steering control. I was just surprised.
Let's
I think you'll see the original incident. I think what you'll see with Breeding is that he gets on the gases and fishtails the truck and then locks up the brakes and is just on a absolute collision course there.
Well, the original incident, Chad Stearns dives to the inside of Paul Ellison and just makes a little bit of contact here. I'm going to go a little farther back to the far chase with Stearns. And Ellison checks up early. I think he's going to try to get a run on Vroman is what he's trying to do. And Stearns looks at that and says he's going to try to take advantage of it. Dives. Really not a whole lot of room there, but there was a truck width. Gets into the 55 and is going to knock him sideways. And that's not who we want. Apologies. Give me just a second. The 18 of Dooming was just trying to get to the outside of the 55. Isn't quite able to squeeze through. They actually come to a stop and really don't make any contact. And Eric Breeding comes in pretty hot and absolutely clobbers Paul Ellison.
So a meatball flag for Paul Ellison, unfortunately. That brings a stretch of finishes for Paul Ellison to a close that were pretty good. Outside of a 22nd place finish at Pocono, his last 6 finishes, 5 of them have been top 5s. So it's not going to go that way tonight, unfortunately, for Paul Ellison. It was, if you follow Truck 200 action, Paul Ellison has 3 consecutive 5th place finishes, and he is 2nd place in the points.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Paul Ellison, the king of consistency. He's the number 55 and has 3 consecutive 5th place finishes. It's been kind of insane, but he's made it work to his advantage.
Alrighty, 32, now make it 31 laps to go. Andy Poliski and Jeremy McKinnon were gearing up for a big battle. Here we go again. Lap number 120. Oh man, McKinnon checks up. It's not bumping and banging time yet for McKinnon. You gotta imagine it's gonna be soon, as man, it looked like he was gonna lay it in that time.
Yeah, I think he's maybe getting a little bit impatient. I mean, we're down to the last 30 laps, and they click off quick here at Martinsville.
Poliski's played some great defense over the last few green flag laps.
A little bit farther back, TJ Bartel is able to get around Will Salamone. But Bartel's made his way up to the 6th spot after pitting a couple of cautions ago.
And a couple more cautions, and this strategy is really going to pay off for Bartel. As long as he's not involved in them, that is.
Well, he's made his way closer to the front. You would think that they would likely happen behind him, but certainly possible to happen in front, as close as McKinnon and Poliski have been battling.
I'm going to say the last one didn't, and we've got McKinnon battling with Poliski up front.
And not only McKinnon, Steve Vroman has a lot of pace here as well.
Now, Vroman is not one to use the bumper from what I've gathered from what his competitors say about him and what we've seen of him on track. So I'm not expecting that sort of maneuver from Steve Vroman. Not going to rule it out because, you know, it is for a race win, but it doesn't seem likely. McKinnon, I think it's very much in play. And likewise from Poliski, I think. Poliski, the points leader, has not won a race this season. He is well overdue.
I tell you what, the top 5 or 6 trucks really are not that far apart from each other. I think any of them really have a shot here if we continue to go green.
Poliski, McKinnon, Vroman, Stearns, Gainey, and Bartel. All pretty well equidistant from one another. as we work lap number 127, 24 laps to go, coming to 23.
There's that word coming out again.
There it is. That and gaggle, for some reason, are the go-tos here on turn 200. I mean, they really are, though. They're just crammed in there around the turn.
They are. I think TJ Bartel is the closest to trying to make a move on the 22. And he's actually going to try to
do it on the outside, it looked like, there for a second.
Either that or just trying to get a good run off the corner, which he does. I think he went maybe just a little too wide. But it's a tough place to pass, and this is the point in the race where if you can't get around somebody, that's when you start thinking about using the bumper.
I'm sure some drivers are thinking about it. I know some drivers are thinking about it because some drivers have already done it. Some drivers didn't wait till 20 to go. They did it on lap 20.
Certainly, McKinnon had a great run through the corner. I think he actually checked up a little bit for Poliski. Was playing nice. He does it again. I think he could get into him at any point he wants to here.
And again, McKinnon on much fresher tires than Poliski. Poliski, I don't believe, has come down pit road at all this race.
Could be a case where McKinnon's just trying to force Poliski into a mistake as well.
You are hard-pressed to do that. Poliski is so smooth.
But, man, these top six continue to run tight with each other.
Yeah, 1.6 seconds back to TJ Bartel from Poliski this last time by. A little bit of a gap starts to develop.
A little bit of contact between the 12 and the 32 around that corner. As you had a great view of it here on turn 200. McKinnon gets into the curb a little bit out of turn number 2.
Starts to lose a little bit of time now. Gainey almost piled into the back of Chad Stearns there. Caution is out! Caution number 12.
And the 16 of Garrett Rainey is around on the front stretch.
Another solo spin out of turn number 4. Unlike with Kyle Zittel, not a whole lot of contact to anything else, but it is enough to bring out the 12th caution of the night here with 15 laps to go. Oh boy. Hello to Lucas Ward in the chat.
Hey! Good to see Lucas in the chat here with us. Also, JK Gaming mentions that the top 3 are teammates as well, and we have seen a lot of Broke Guy racing this season. Would not be the first time they've done that.
No, it absolutely would not. And I am certainly guilty of not bringing up the team standing as much as I probably should here on the channel. But Broke Guy Racing right now with a pretty healthy lead over RNS Motorsports in the team standings. And they just continually do top 2 sweeps and podium sweeps. I mean, it seems like, especially the better part of the back half of this season, it's been Broke Guy Racing podium sweeps almost every week. It's been phenomenal. What these guys have been able to do, Poliski, McKinnon, and Broman.
And don't forget Jeff Langston, a part of that
Jeff
as well.
Langston as well, yes, with his 3 wins of the season. How could I forget?
Nathan Reynolds in the chat, unfortunately fell asleep for the start of the race tonight, but graces us with his presence in the chat. He is pointing out that Jeremy McKinnon is so fast through the middle of the corner, and we've seen him, almost running into, and actually did run into Poliski on a couple of occasions. Needs that speed on exit if he wants to try to make a move. And I think he's right. He might need to lag back a little bit to be able to use the speed through the middle as momentum. Otherwise, he's been having to check up, and it kills his run coming out of the corner.
We've had 57 laps under caution. That is certainly enough to save the 20-something laps we think they needed to save to be able to not have to pit for fuel during the race. The question is Poliski going to regret not coming in for tires?
And I'm actually on cockpit view trying to see, and Poliski did shut the engine off there for a second, so maybe needing to save some more here.
Maybe it's a little closer than we think.
Could just be trying to save some for the inevitable overtimes as well. We'll have to see.
Oh boy, knock on wood. Teammates up front, but teammates battling for a win and a championship. Don't forget, teammates may go out the window here. 10 to go.
Really
Roman
nice.
and Stearns tight there.
Yeah, Stearns was really squeezing down, trying to keep as much ground as he could, but Roman prevails on that one. Look at TJ Bartel on the outside of the 22. Again, he tried to make a move. Bartel's going to be getting a little more desperate here than he was previously on fresher tires than the few in front of him. And he's able to get around the 22 now.
Ooh, trouble in the back. Jan Van Leer saves it. I think we're going to stay green. 8 to go.
TJ Bartel tries to squeeze Chad Stearns down a little bit there. Wasn't able to do it, but he does move to the 5th spot.
Bartel back in the top 5. Couple of slow trucks in front of the leaders here.
And we've spread out just a tad. McKinnon's working on making a run at the 32. Zittel in the 53 staying out of the way. TJ Bartel is all over the back of the 05. Only 6 laps to go here. He is going to start pushing the issue, I'm sure.
Stearns is not going to give up the bottom. He's going to want to move around the top side.
Well, the 59 has a big surge of momentum. Gets chopped off a little bit.
He may make him give up the bottom here before too long. Up front, it's about a half a second advantage right now for Poliski over McKinnon. 5 to go. Now make it 4.5 for Andy Poliski to finally get to victory lane here this season.
You can see the high entry from the 12 of McKinnon doing everything he can to get runs out of the corner.
Caution!
And there's a caution.
We're going to overtime. Austin Holyfield around in turn number 2, and we are under caution for the 13th time. And 150 wasn't enough.
The first time we've really mentioned Holyfield's name tonight has stayed pretty quiet.
The only time that I have really seen him, he was on the short end of the stick on a restart on a 3-wide situation.
And he just sends it into the corner a little too hot. We've seen that from a couple of drivers here tonight already. And, man, he tried his darndest to save it. He was sideways all the way through both of those turns, but ultimately ends up with his nose in the inside wall.
Well, it's sort of a good news, bad news situation. The good news is, as we're not going to break the record. A maximum of 3 green-white checkered attempts here for the overtime situation here tonight. So a maximum of 16 cautions here tonight. The bad news is that we're not going to break the record. We're going to come one short. At most.
Well, we've seen some of the restarts get a little bit chippy already and some very aggressive moves being made. Overtime is not going to calm that down a single bit.
I was going to say, those restarts, the pay window wasn't open.
I think you and I are getting ready to witness something spectacular here.
I'm just taking
as well
it all
as everybody
in.
else that's watching on Turn 200. Thank you for tuning in.
Go ahead and place your bets in the chat. I want to see who's going to be right here. I have a feeling. I just have a feeling. We'll see. We'll see who comes out on top here.
Well, I mean, you can have a feeling for this one. The real question is, how many do we need? Because if we need to go to another one, surely one of the top 6 drivers is probably being moved out of the way.
That doesn't seem unreasonable.
From
our vantage point, anyway.
JK Gaming's putting his money on Steve Roman, maybe thinking McKinnon and Poliski will take each other out and the 0-0 will be there for the taking. Steve
Roman could be this race's Ryan Newman. And it could be a Hendrick Motorsports collapse, a la Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson. You never know.
That's how you remind me.
Yep. And with a Nickelback reference, we send it to overtime. Poliski and McKinnon. 2 to go.
Poliski with a good jump. McKinnon gets a little bump from behind from Steve Roman. Stearns has looked to the outside now.
Poliski trying to get away, trying to get back to the line. Stearns to third. Roman back to fourth.
Oh, they're 3 wide behind.
White flag. McKinnon draws near. Is it going to be near enough?
He sends
it in. He gets close. Not close enough. Poliski to the line. He gets it. 1 week after Nathan Reynolds grabs win number 10, Poliski follows suit. Andy Poliski wins the Honor the Fallen 150 at Martinsville Speedway in overtime. It's a 1-2 for Broke Guy Racing. Chad Stearns spoils the podium party by finishing P3. Steve Roman and TJ Bartell round out the top 5 here tonight. And it's finally time for some burnouts for Andy Poliski.
Boy, and I think McKinnon could have stuffed it in there if he really wanted to, but decided against it. Probably for the better. He might have come out worse than anybody if he would have tried it. Ends away coming with a second-place finish.
The Polish victory lap here. I think that was a tasteful send. I think it was going to be a nudge more than anything. A respectful battle for the lead between teammates. 2 drivers, I'm sure, with a lot of respect for one another. But how about it? We've had this man in Booth 200 several times this season in multiple leagues. And it is finally his time to be on top.
And Andy Poliski, deservedly so, absolutely burning the house down at Martinsville.
Yeah, whatever is left of those tires, they are gone.
Yeah, I think what's left is probably laying out on the track at this point.
He left it all out there, that's for sure. And there goes the motor.
There it goes. It's blown.
And with that, we'll send it to the full field rundown for you on what was a wild race here tonight for round number 10 of the 5th season at Martinsville for the Honor of the Fallen 150. Andy Poliski with career win number 10, first win of the season. He's going to extend his points lead over his teammate and championship adversary Jeremy McKinnon, who finishes runner-up here tonight on a great 10th to 2nd run for him here tonight. Chad Stearns, second consecutive podium for him here tonight. Steve Vroman slips back to 4th there on the final restart. TJ Bartell led the majority of the early portion of this race. Will rally to finish P5. Brantley Gainey Jr., 6th place finish for him here tonight. That's one of his best runs of the season. Garrett Rainey, P7 finish for him here tonight. That is his best finish of the season, so a good run for Garrett Rainey despite a couple of loop-de-loops here tonight. Your all-star race winner, Michael Dean, will finish P8. A decent follow-up to his runner-up finish here last season. Will Salamoni, a 9th place finish. Ryan Dye, a quiet P10 here tonight for Ryan Dye, the defending champ. Jan Van Leer, P11. After he had 4 minutes of repairs at one point during this race. So that's an incredible P11 for Jan here tonight. Michael Krall was involved in a couple of accidents here tonight, and he finishes 12th. Kyle Dumig, a 13th place finish. Austin Holyfield involved in a couple of accidents. He will finish in 14th. Ethan Patterson involved in several accidents here tonight. Career best 15th place finish for him. So persistence pays off for Ethan Patterson here tonight. He's the last truck on the lead lap. Adrian Brown, I believe also a career best 16th place finish for him here tonight. Corey Rutherford finishes 3 laps down in 17th. Eric Breeding, I don't believe was running at the end. He will finish in 18th here tonight at his home race. Paul Ellison not running at the end of the race. A DNF for him here tonight. 19th for him. Cole Maxwell, P20. Jeff Langston, another disappointing run here. Back-to-back disappointing runs for Jeff Langston. P21 for Langston tonight. Luke Peterson, 22nd. Pascal Samar, 23rd. Kyle Zittel got back out on the track there at the end. He finishes 71 laps down in 24th. And Paul Sargent kicked the whole night off with one of the first 2 cautions. He finishes in P25. Alrighty, it is podium time. I don't see Chad Stearns in the waiting room, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up our P2 finisher. Talked to him a little bit earlier today through text, so it's finally good to get this man back up in booth 200. It is the one and only Mr. Jeremy McKinnon, your P2 finisher here tonight. Congrats on an entertaining run here tonight.
Thank you.
So you talked a little bit earlier about being patient and also trying to be aggressive. What's that's like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. Which one was talking to you more there at the end of the race?
Aggressive. I was telling Andy that if I could have gotten to him, I was going to give him the bumper. I didn't want to race like that, but every time I thought, no, I shouldn't do it, I had flashbacks of Talladega and Pocono where I got doored by him. So I thought I'd return the favor if I could get to him. I just couldn't.
Where did you think you were stronger than him on the track here?
The middle of the corner and off.
Matt, what do you got for Jeremy here?
Well, I was going to ask about that middle corner speed. We had Nathan Reynolds in the chat talking about it as well. What about it that you just couldn't quite get a run off the corner to try to make a pass? Was it that you had to check up through the middle of the corner, or did he just have a little extra that you weren't able to quite get there?
I had to check up off the corner a little bit just so I didn't run him over completely. I didn't want to turn him, being he's my teammate. So I was just trying to be patient and aggressive. I don't know if those two go hand in hand, but that's what I was trying to do. Was just be patient, aggressive, and I just had to check up just that little bit where I couldn't get them down that straightaway to get into the corner.
Well, it's another podium for you tonight. You're racking them up. Who do you want to thank here tonight?
I want to thank my teammates, Steve, Jeff, Andy. Those guys are unbelievable. I want to thank you to my wife and my kids for allowing me to do this, and you guys for doing this every week, and Corey for my paint job.
All righty, 4th podium on the season, and you finish runner-up to the driver that you're battling in the points, but some good damage limitation, I suppose, heading into what is promising to be a wild race in Long Beach next week. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm not a road guy, so I'm not feeling very good at all. I'm hoping to just keep it on the track and finish somewhere up in the top 10 so I don't lose too much to Andy.
All righty. Well, we got a week to figure it out. So best of luck to you next week, but congrats tonight on the P2.
Thank you.
All righty. It's finally time to bring this man up as a race winner. For the 10th time in his career, Andy Poliski is in victory lane. It's for the first time here at Martinsville. Welcome back to Booth 200. Congrats on the big win here tonight.
Thanks, Tommy.
That was an awesome performance. How was the truck driving there towards the end of the race?
Honestly, I'm thankful some of the cautions came out there at the end. It was getting a little bit loose on entry. I think if that longer green flag run, if it had gone probably another 10 laps, Jeremy was going to get me. I was having a hard time getting to the bottom, and then getting out of the corner. He was starting to beat me there as well. So. But thankfully, we had some of those cautions. I was able to cool the tires down and hold off to the end.
How did you think your defense was going to hold up there as we got closer and closer to the end of the race?
We got close to the end, I was better on the shorter runs than Jeremy was. So the cautions really helped. So I was kind of glad to have them, but at the same time not. We were going to have a good race going between me and him, but it did definitely help me on the having that little short run there at the end to be able to hold him off.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner here?
Well, we just talked to your teammate, Jeremy McKinnon. He told us that you were aware that if he got to you, he was thinking about using the bumper. You mentioned you were struggling a bit there at the end. Were you bracing for impact, or were you really just trying to run your race, and if you got turned, so be it?
At the end there, I was just running my race, and whatever was going to happen is going to happen. I knew Jeremy was going to race me hard. I knew he owes me to get me to the bumper. We've had a couple run-ins at Pocono and Talladega where I got in his door at the end. But it's just good, clean, hard racing. So, it's Martinsville if he got to me, but I wanted to make sure he didn't have a chance.
Absolutely. Well, we've had you up here 5 times in just this league. We've had you up in Booth 200 as well. Well, I guess last night, Watkins Glen as well. But it's finally time to get you up here as a winner. Who do you want to thank finally from the top step?
It's good to finally get a win. I'm going to thank my team again. Like I said last night, we pass a lot of information back and forth. Really helps on these races. Thank my family, my wife and my daughter let me do this, and then thank my sponsor, Nissan Wichita Falls, CJR Graphics. All the guys that are on the truck, they do a great job supporting me. So it's makes it a lot of fun when we can finally pull one out.
Listen to the stat line here. 61 career starts, 33 top 5s, 27 podiums, and now 10 wins. You join Nathan Reynolds and Jeff Langston in the 10-win club. It's well-deserved, and now you've widened your points lead out heading into Long Beach. Are you feeling confident about that race?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Long Beach. That was one that I had circled at the start of the season. I feel like I'm pretty good on road courses, so anything out of the top 2 or 3, I'm not going to be happy with. So really looking forward to that race. Hopefully we can widen this points gap a little bit, give me a little bit of a cushion. A lot of good hard tracks coming up near the end. I would really like to pull this championship off, but we're going to take it one step at a time.
There you go, one step at a time, and a good first step. Finally getting to victory lane here tonight. Andy Poliski, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. You guys do a great job every week. Thank you.
Appreciate the love from one of the best to do it in the Venom Truck Series, that's for sure. And 13 cautions here tonight for 63 laps. That's a lot, but it wasn't as much as we saw last year. So that's good, I guess. Not really sure. The racing, when we got it, was very good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great battling going on throughout the night, even though we did have a lot of incidents. That's bound to happen here at Martinsville. But hard racing, especially there towards the end, the top 6 trucks or so. A lot of respect between those drivers to not run each other over, but still battle hard. So, we got a lot of the cautions out of the way a little bit earlier, and that second half of the race showed us some green flag laps and some good hard racing.
All righty. Anything else you want to say to sort of wrap this night up nicely with some aluminum foil and maybe some relish and ketchup?
Well, we'll go ahead and wrap that dog up with some thanks to our viewers and chatters: Jacob Nagy, Madison Bowen, JK Gaming, Roll Tide, Lucas Ward, and Nathan Reynolds, all in the chat tonight. Quite a few more viewers. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to Turn 200 and tonight the Venom Truck Series. Also want to mention we have some non-broadcasting content that will be coming out in the next week, likely. So look out for that. We got some good stuff coming.
That's what I was just about to say, is our next 2 streams that you'll be seeing next Monday and Tuesday. Truck 200 is back in action on Monday at Dover for the most boringly named race on the schedule, the Dover 200. We'll have to come up with a better name before Monday for that. But next Tuesday, the Venom Truck Series, we've alluded to it a couple of times. I think this is going to be the wildest race on the schedule. It's the Visit Jan Van Leer out in California Way, 1:30 at Long Beach, the straight circuit for Indy cars. For open wheel cars.
Easy there, partner. Hey, remember what happened last time we went to virtual Long Beach?
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's it can fit a couple of trucks down the straightaways, that's for sure. We'll see if it's how many it fits in the corners. That is going to be one you are not going to want to miss. That is going to be a spectacle. So to make sure that you are here and on time, punctual, be sure to hit the subscribe button while you're down there. Hit like on the stream. Every little bit helps. We appreciate it. We appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. We appreciate your support of Turn 200. We couldn't do it without you. We would not be here without you. So we'll be back here on Monday with Truck 200 action from Dover. And we'll be back here next Tuesday with coverage of the Venom Truck Series once again from Long Beach. For everybody here at Turn 200 with the Venom Truck Series, and for the GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson, I've been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from virtual Martinsville, where Andy Poliski has claimed the grandfather clock and is eating some hot dogs here tonight in Victory Lane. Have a good night, everybody.